Good morning, church family. It is Monday morning, and it is post-Easter Resurrection Day. In the background, you can see my lovely daughter, Charlie. She is gathering up the recycling so we can take her trip, something I do every Monday, kind of as my day to kind of get reset for the week. But this morning, I want to send you a quick video and share something in my heart that I want to ask you to think about. You know, growing up, I wonder how many of you, like me, did not like to learn math. Okay, so you can confess that right now. It's okay. This is a quiet place, and you can pray that to God. But I didn't like to learn math. I was more about school, having friends, and having a good time, and trying to do the least a bit amount of work to get through school. Now, in that, God has a sense of humor, because later in the late 90s, I want you to understand this, I find myself teaching high school math to special needs kids, and I have to teach them algebra. Would you believe it? So God's going to make me learn it one way or the other. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation. That's what I had to go through. But in teaching those kids algebra, one of the things I probably worked on at least half a semester was order of operations. Now, you might remember this from school. When you do algebraic equations, there's always an order and process that you hit that equation so that you can get a right answer. Starts with parentheses. Let's see if you remember this. Exponents, multiplication, division. What's the next one? Addition, division, addition, and subtraction. The acronym was PEMDAS. PEMDAS, right? And that's the basic order of operations when you go into an algebraic equation to try to solve it. And no matter how long those algebraic equations can get or what you're trying to discover in them, you always have to start with PEMDAS. It's the fundamental basic function of algebra. Now, in much the same way of math, and I don't know if you understand this or not, but the theology is very logic-based, even though it pulls on a man's heartstrings. It makes sense, okay? And so in that, there are basic things that you got to understand about the Bible, about our God, in order to appreciate him even more, right? And so we're about to offer a course called The Fundamentals of the Faith. It's a 13-week course / small group, because we're going to do it in a small group setting, that we want to invite you to. It's going to happen right after church for the next 13 weeks, starting up here soon. And it's probably going to take you halfway through summer. Lunch, probably a main dish will be provided. We're going to ask you, just like your small groups that you belong to right now, you bring a side dish. You help kind of share in the meal responsibilities. And my friend Mike Clark is going to go through that coursework with you. Now, you may think, well, I don't need that, Jody, and maybe you don't, but there are 3 different reasons why we would ask you to take this course. Number one, some of you, and I've approached some of you about this, is we want you to be a member of Highlands Community Church. Now, and some of you have already gotten the paperwork for membership, which asks for a testimonial and your thoughts about Christianity, because we want to make sure that there's a good match there, because there's lots of good churches to belong there to. It might not be Highlands, but we desire this relationship with you if you're getting this video, right? So in that process, this coursework, what this allows us to do to make sure that we get a lot of the things out of the way that you might be wondering about us. And maybe we're wondering, like, do you understand these things, right? This coursework was prepared by Pastor John MacArthur from California. And I've mentioned his name a few times from the stage. He's a author, pastor, teacher, director of Master Seminary out in California. And so we understand that a lot of the same things that Pastor MacArthur believes, we believe. So we want to use this material to kind of get a gauge of where you're at in the same belief system. This is also to help you to enjoy the sermons, the teaching, and the preaching, and even the song choices of our church better. Because when you understand the fundamentals and where we're coming from as we try to understand God better, that's a better experience for you. That's a better knowledge base for you. You are understanding the order of operations so much better. And you'll be able to learn quicker, pick up on the fly, and be able to appreciate our God. All right, so that's number one. Maybe you've been thinking about membership. We want to invite you into that, and you've been wanting to do that. This is a step one. So we make sure that we are on the same page, okay? Secondly, some of you may be watching this video have been thinking about baptism, or I've talked to you about baptism. Maybe you were baptized, sprinkled as a baby, and when you understand that that's not necessarily the view that Highlands Community Church holds, or maybe you've never been baptized, or maybe you were baptized as a young person before you were ever regenerate, and you're discovering that now. I'm like, man, I guess that wasn't a real baptism. I don't understand what that is. So in all of that, the fundamentals of faith is going to help you understand, who is this God that I'm pledging my life to? Who is this Jesus that was God in flesh, that I am dying with him in baptism and being raised to walk in a new life, as Paul describes, right? Who is that person? Because we want you to know who God is, right, before you're baptized in his name. And you get to stand for him and proclaim his goodness and glory to the rest of the world. You should understand that. This class is going to help you understand that, okay? The third reason that we want you to take this class is because we just think that this will be helpful to you as you grow in your life towards Christ, all right? There is nothing like going back, understanding the basics, and maybe, and a lot of us, and I told Mike that I have this problem the other day. I grew up in Christian school, didn't live as a Christian, but I had the basics for a long time and just wasn't using them because just like math class, I was always avoiding wanting to have fun. But sometimes I take for granted what I know, and I know that sometimes the people in our congregation, you don't know the same thing. So I want to make sure that you are introduced to the same things that I was introduced to as a young Christian, so that you can learn and grow in the good grace of God. So the 3 reasons we want you to take this class: number 1, you might be thinking of membership. Number 2, you might be thinking of baptism. And number 3, we want you to have all the tools that you need to start growing as a Christian. Okay, so here it is. We want to ask you to consider seriously being a part of this for the next 13 weeks, because we'll believe it will be beneficial to you and will bless your life. All right. So, and with that, you're going to be with Mike Clark and his family for the next few weeks, and then get to experience these things together. So God bless you. You have a great Monday, and I'll catch you later.